Lord, we just thank you so much for bringing us around the table today, and we ask that you use us to speak what you want us to speak, Lord, and we thank you for everything that you do to guide us with Baylor University, and all of the students and families that have trusted their lives here at this university. Well, thank you so much for having me in your kitchen this morning. I really appreciate it. And we're here really to talk about parents in prayer. And I have heard you numerous times, President Livingstone, refer to how important our parents in prayer groups are to you and the university. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, sure, Gail. We're happy to have you with us this morning. Well, you know, I learned very early after I got here about our Parents Network around the country. One of the things that really touched me and impressed me most was the prayer time that they spend very regularly. And I've had parents all over the country talk about their times together in prayer, and it means so much to me personally, to the leadership here at the university, and to our students to know that we have parents all over the country praying for them regularly, for their safety, for their well-being, for their academics, for their personal and spiritual growth. So it's a wonderful thing that we do for our students and for the university.
I agree. It is wonderful and an honor to have that here. And so what was interesting during the search for the new president, I went to groups and they consistently and faithfully prayed for direction in the selection of the new president. Can you just share what kind of prayers you guys had during that process?
Well, one of the things that we started doing immediately is just praying for Baylor at that particular time, just praying that God's direction and wisdom would continue to be very evident in the campus and with everyone in charge. And so, as far as prayer is concerned, the whole process of this really began for us, and I went back and looked at the particular dates. June the 2nd, 2016. I was driving to work. I was a principal in Fairfax, Virginia, and I was driving to work. Linda was already at work at GW, and it was the summertime. And and again, I want to preface this by saying this doesn't happen all the time, but it happens, and when it happens, it's pretty powerful. That there was just a quickening of the spirit that Linda will be the next president of Baylor University, and this was months before Linda was contacted. And I think one of the reasons that God allowed that to happen was to prepare us, get us ready for this. And I immediately told Linda when I got home, and I told my boss too. I was a principal, so I said, we need to make arrangements and be prepared for this. And so I didn't want to leave him wondering what was going on as well. So we just said, okay, God, if this is the case, then so be it. We want to do your will. And then the whole process took place. Linda was, I believe the search committee was formed in September. And Linda, you were contacted in
Late December.
Late December, and then again in February. And it's a long, awesome story, but then eventually it did happen. And so God allowed us to have at least a window of preparation before that. So in that time, we bathed it in prayer, and we have a group of prayer warriors around really the country and the world that were praying for it as well. And so as far as Linda and I are concerned, prayer was incredibly instrumental and important in this process.
It's interesting. Now, how did you react when he came and told you of his quickening of the spirit?
I thought he was being a little overreacting there early in the process, because I certainly hadn't had any conversations with anyone. But, you know, I think it did focus us on praying for Baylor, that God would raise up the right person to fill in a very difficult time for the university. And then certainly as we move forward in the process, as I began to have conversations, just God helping us to know if this was the right opportunity for us, if we were the right family to come and be a part of Baylor. So we felt God's hand in it all the way along. And certainly now when I talk to people, so many people share how they were praying for the next president, praying for whoever it was going to be, that God would raise up the right person. So it does affirm for us just how prayer had such a huge influence in the presidential search process, with the search committee, with the Baylor community, with all of the families around the country, and certainly for us personally.
Right, that's amazing. What's really neat is as I meet other people on campus in their different positions, so many share the same type of story. Right. You know, that I don't know how I ended up here, but God just started directing a path, so that's really, really neat.
I had that conversation with a student last night. We went and got ice cream at Heritage, and was talking to a freshman, and she was not from Texas. She was from out of state, and I said, "How did you end up here?" She goes, "I really don't know. I think it had to be a God thing," and lots of prayer brought me here.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And we just got a graduation announcement from a senior from Florida that said when she was in high school, she was asking for clarification of where to go to school, and she was a nanny, so she had a baby in a stroller and evidently hit a rock or something and looked down, and this is in Florida. In the concrete, somebody had written, before it dried, the word Baylor. And she saw that as clarification, and now she's getting ready to graduate. We just got that in the mail yesterday.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, let's talk about that then with students especially. So consistently our parents and prayer groups will pray for students, for their education, for them to see God's calling on their life, and then they also pray for faculty and staff, as well as obviously the administration. So it's just a consistent thing. Do you guys find that you're consistently praying for some of the same things, same types of things?
Well, I pray regularly for our students, and we certainly pray for their safety and their health and their well-being on the campus. We know students experience a lot of stress when they go away from home for the first time and are going through the college experience. But we also pray for their spiritual growth and development, and really that they, as they come to college, will own their own faith. Oftentimes they come with a faith that's been deeply formed by their parents or their pastors, and that hopefully while they're here they mature in their faith in a way that they own that, and it will be theirs for the rest of their life, and they'll be strong in that. And then certainly we want them to grow academically and mature in personal ways as well. But we spend a lot of time praying for our students on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. And I know that they feel it too. Yeah. So that's wonderful. Well, I mean, I think that kind of sums up what we wanted to hear today. I know that, again, I hear from my hosts and the people who open up their home and invite other parents to come in, how rewarding it is for them, but how thrilled they are in the past year with what you guys have done since you've gotten here. Do you have any final things you would like to say to them?
Well, we just thank them so much for their prayers. We feel those prayers. We need those prayers and encourage them to continue. It means so much to the university to know that we're wrapped in prayer constantly by the parents that are out there praying for their children and for the university.
And we're very, and as Linda had mentioned, we feel their prayers. Everywhere we go, people say that they're praying for us and they're praying for Baylor, and it's palpable. Especially here in Waco, people will come up that we don't even know. They just say, our church is praying for you. And number one, I would say, I always tell them, keep it up.
Absolutely.
Keep praying. And it's an honor and it's a blessing to be able to pray with students and to be able to know that others are praying as well. So we take that very seriously, and because we know the results are incredible and they're eternal. That's right. And so we're very thankful to be a part of that.